The nice thing about it, again, all three of those guys I thought really improved during their time of play, the years that they played. And I think they all did some real good things, particularly in November in the bowl games. And I'm excited to hopefully have all three of those guys out there full speed. They're all a little bit different packages, but they're all good packages. So yeah, I mean, if all three of them are healthy, we haven't really talked about that, had that discussion, or I'm sure everybody's thought about it a little bit. But A, I hope we get there, and then B, there'll be plenty of carries. And if we have a Sean Green story emerge during the course of the year or next year or any year, that guy's going to get more carries than the other. But I think right now, I'd really kind of handicap it as a pretty even race, and we'll just see how things go. First of all, I think he's healthy, fully healthy. He was fully healthy back in the spring. And, we didn't let him do any full contact drills, but he could have. He was cleared for that. And just, I really think he's very similar to the other two guys. He's played a year. Difference is he's had a buffer year in between. Injuries are part of the game, unfortunately. Unfortunately, AJ Eads, went through here unscathed 4 years and then got caught in that trap the other day. But it's part of the game, and if you play the game, you have to handle it physically and more importantly, mentally. And I think he's doing fine. I mean, he's eager to get in the next. I know it's not the same maybe, but it's kind of the same as a year ago, in my mind at least. We came out of Tampa. I think internally we all felt pretty good about our football team. I keep looking over here. I think we all felt pretty good about the football team, and I think externally, maybe the barometer wasn't quite as high, but I think everybody's feeling pretty good out there. At least when I make my tour around the state, what have you, a lot of excitement, what have you, a year ago. So I think it's pretty similar. I think the bottom line again is just what I said earlier. It's a new team. This is a new season, and we're going to have a lot of new challenges, and none of us can predict what's going to happen. You never know what the course of action is going to be. And, all we can try to do is do the best with the things that we control. So it's really the same message. And I visited the team last night. I mean, we've had it both ways. We had really okay expectations probably back in 2002, and really ended up having a very good football team. We had high expectations going into the 2006 season, and that was the most miserable half of the year that I've ever gone through. Just didn't go the way we wanted it to. And 2 years ago, coming off a whole season, I think expectations were, they were okay. And I thought we had a heck of a football team that year. So, I mean, the moral of the story is expectations really have nothing to do with how the season's going to turn out. And the things that we have to do, that's really going to be the most important thing. And then all that being said, we don't know what's going to happen out here or on the road. Those 12 ball games. The good news there is we've got a big senior class, probably the biggest one I've encountered, but one of the biggest, if not the biggest, that we've had, and a really strong senior class. So that's the good news. Now, the other part of the equation is we've got a significant amount of guys on the roster that haven't really done any of the heavy lifting. So, I'd like to think the guys that were out there on the field last year, some of those games that were tough, which is probably about, 11 of them? Something like that, maybe all 12. Seem like 12. Those guys understand a little bit better, and unless they start thinking about something that's way out there, I think they got an idea. But some of the guys that haven't been there yet, I think they have, and it was really nice to be in Miami. We stayed in a nice place and all that. And everybody treated us way nicer than anybody deserves to get treated. But for guys that haven't been out there getting banged around, that ain't the real world. And some of these other guys understand a little bit more, I think, what it takes to get there. So, that to me is the biggest fear. The guys really haven't, been out there, been knocked around a little bit. So, it'll be continual. We'll just keep talking about it. And, the older guys setting the tempo really up. Clearly, we have probably more experience and depth than we've had. I haven't gone back and looked at every preseason roster, but I would think at least at the receiver position, for instance, and the defensive line, I can't imagine we've been more veteran in those groups than we are right now. But then you counter that with the areas where we lost, and our losses were significant. They weren't that numerous, if you will. But you don't just replace a guy like Pat Anger. Pat did so much for us, not only on the field but in other areas. He's just such a strong team leader. But that's that's the fun part about all this. And you look back a couple years ago, we lost two veteran defensive ends. Claiborne and Ballard emerged, did a great job last year. just as we were talking about Pat Anger, I was really concerned about losing a guy like Matt Kroll and King, and boom, here comes Carl Klugenbergis, and Broderick Binns is part of that equation as well. But so that's a neat thing about college football, and how we put that part of the puzzle together is really going to be the key, I think, to how the season goes. And that's we got to peek at it in the spring, but right now a lot of that hard work is being done, and the same thing with the offensive line. It's you can sit around and talk about it. Guys can train, which they've done, and that's important. But the most important thing is what they're going to do out there in the field and how quickly they can move along. But I'm not concerned about anything, but I'm anxious to see how things go. Just eager, and I think everybody is. Usually when you do well, sooner or later it shows. And it's funny, there's I told you, recruiting never ends. We had at least this guy's going into his junior. I don't know if I'm allowed to even say that. I hope I am. We had a prospect on campus today with his dad. They were up here from Florida visiting, and the only reason I'm bringing this up, he coached Brad Banks in an all-star game. And, we had no hype for Brad Banks his senior year, especially after our third or fourth game, whatever game that was out there. I don't think there was any campaign for Heisman. Yet the guy ends up second, because he really emerged and played well, and the team did the same thing. I know we weren't ranked that day or going into it, so if you do well, you get there, and it's kind of like the BCS debate and all that stuff. If you want to be in the BCS championship game, odds are if you go undefeated, you're going to be in it. I figured that out. Now, I know it's not true. That 1 year was the exception to the rule. But, it's awfully hard to do that. So, I guess my point is, we need to do well. That's what we need to do, and worry about what's out there, not what's in the papers right now, or what people decided, based on theory and all that kind of stuff.